Rushan Abbas, who has said that will be, representing the voice of the Uyghurs on this particular broadcast. Rushan, the last time we spoke, I was very touched by the story and your struggle. Is there any update on that front? You had informed us that your sister continues to be in a detention camp, by within Xinjiang under the CCP.
Yes, my sister is still missing, still detained. She was abducted by the Chinese government in September 2018. And now it's almost 2 years. We are approaching 2 years anniversary of her abduction, but we still don't know her whereabouts and her condition of her health. We still have no information of her.
At the same time, Rushan, recently a video had gone viral for some time of a young man, a model in Xinjiang, who had managed to send in some photographs and videos of what it was like in the detention center. Why do you think that that particular story was actually suppressed, rather quickly?
Well, what you saw from Merdan Ghappar, one of the famous model. Now he's in the concentration camps, and he was able to send out some text messages and the video of himself. That actually is one of the very, like a drop of the ocean of what is happening. The people are facing genocide right now under this brutal, evil regime. The Uyghurs are facing eradication, basically. Our scholars, intellectuals, famous writers, professors, all the, like famous and successful business people, everybody is detained, like more than 3 million people, and the rest of the millions are being used as slaves. The reason that the world is not paying attention to this is because of China's economy and the influence and the manipulation in the places like the United Nations. China's blood money basically buying out the compliance of the world communities and the mainstream medias of NBA, of Hollywood celebrities, basically many government entities and some of the world leaders and some of the countries are basically trading the human lives to China's blood money.
Rushan, so, with what's happened with India as well, given that context and how our Prime Minister today has come out and said that anybody who tries to come into our territory will be given a befitting response, and he was clearly talking about both the LSC and LOC, which continue to be big headaches for India. Somewhere, do you find that as a ray of hope that, perhaps with what India is doing, how India is retaliating, how countries in the South China Sea are retaliating, is there then somewhere do you feel hopeful for, Uyghurs and Xinjiang as well?
Yes, absolutely. Taking action means saving the future from this brutal regime, actually. We have to act. We have to take a step forward to make some changes, hold China accountable, and also to gain freedom, like everybody, Hong Kong, Tibet, and what happened to India, and our condolence to the family members of those 20 brave martyrs who has been killed. China is creating problem everywhere, not only around the neighboring countries or killing the people from their occupied regions, but they are basically suppressing the democracy in the world. And whatever is happening to the Uyghurs today, the world community should look at Uyghurs and imagine the future of the world if they don't stop this brutal regime. Look at right now, what's happening with this pandemic that's created by China by suppressing the whistleblowers, punishing the whistleblowers, suppressing the information. And today, over 20 million people are being affected. And over 750,000 people died because of this. A country capable of doing this is basically capable of doing all kinds of evils in the world.
So, Rushan, before I move on to bring in Ms. Dolkar into the conversation as well, I want to just quickly understand from you then. Firstly, why do you think that the world community is not as vocal about the cause of the Uyghurs or Xinjiang as they are perhaps now about, Hong Kong, about what's happening in Hong Kong or what's happening in Taiwan? That, and secondly, I also want to understand your perspective on what does freedom from China mean to you?
Many countries are complicit with China's genocide against the Uyghurs by signing up on Belt and Road Initiative. It's such a huge project. Look at what's happening with Pakistan, the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, that starts from basically our homeland, and the East Turkestan is the epicenter of the Belt and Road Initiative, which is Xi Jinping's signature project, blueprint for the global domination of the world. Again, because of the China's influence, the influence of the power of the Belt and Road Initiative, and the debt trap diplomacy, and that they are investing in many countries and buying out their silence, and also China's manipulation in the United Nations as the second largest donor. Mm-hmm. And because our homeland sits there right at the epicenter, as I said, on the Belt and Road Initiative, and also because we are Muslim, there are 1.8 billion Muslims that China is feeding with their disinformation and false narratives. And Chinese government is afraid if the whole Muslim community, Muslim majority countries know actually what's happening, what China is doing, like waging a war on religion, and basically eradicating the Uyghur people, Uyghur culture, and the Uyghur Muslims. The world is not going to stay quiet like now if they only know the reality. That's why probably they are being more. Speaking about the freedom, what freedom means to Uyghur people, the freedom means peace and to live with human dignity. It means existence for our Uyghur people, exist in equality. It means survival for the Uyghurs today. What's happening to the Uyghurs is not just the calamity of the Uyghurs, but as I said, I cannot emphasize enough. It is about saving the future of the world, to stopping China, what China is doing, as China is changing the next world order. China must be held accountable and stop right now.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.